I just want to say a few things about rules for drafting pleadings, uh, and I have up on the screen. Let me get the page number. Uh, Maybe there's not a page number. How about that? It's the second page of the posting I put up about pleadings. By the way, I just realized I violated that's page two. Good. I was going to say if it had not been paginated, I would have violated one of my cardinal rules about putting a written document in a way that is clear and can be used. And one way to screw that up is simply not to put page numbers on the document. Imagine if you're in court, by way of example, and it's a multi-page document, and you want to point out to the judge a certain paragraph on a certain page, but you haven't bothered to paginate the document. So now you're saying, well, Judge, about 5 or 6 pages in, or about halfway through the document, or the page beginning with a paragraph that starts with, you're fumbling around like that, rather than to be able to say, if you return, Your Honor, to page 7, third paragraph, there's something I believe is worthy to point out to you. But I did paginate this document. Page 1 wasn't paginated, and it doesn't have to be. So that's my digression. But it's consistent with what I want to talk about, I think. And that is, how do we draft pleadings? And what we're going to do, whether we're a paralegal or an attorney, we're going to work from a sample, or if you will, a template. We want to see an example of the type of pleading that we're doing. And we're not going to be sitting down to the blank piece of paper or the blank computer screen and just starting from scratch. I don't think I've ever done that, and I don't do it now. So we are going to first determine whether we have, and I call it an in-house document. Have we done this type of pleading before? And do we have a file somewhere in our network that contains samples of documents? If we're a smaller place, we might not have that, and we just might have to ask somebody, hey, have we done one of these before? If we have a concentration practice, let's say, in personal injury, then we're going to have tons of templates, and we won't have to search at all for them. What can happen sometimes, at least in some practices, and so you may be faced with this as a paralegal or if you become a lawyer, is that there aren't any samples on hand. And then we've got a couple of choices. One choice would be to go into our virtual law library, whether it's Westlaw or LexisNexis, and find a sample by looking at one or more of the form books. I say the form books, one or more of the digital files containing forms. There's ways to search for those, etc. I have also found, and I have it on the screen, that even a Google search sometimes will give me a sense of what I'm looking for, especially since the material in the online law libraries is dated often. So we've got in-house, we've got our Westlaw or LexisNexis is in our law library. Possibly we do a Google search. Another source that I want to point out to you, and I'll give you kind of an anecdotal example, is by going to the State Supreme Court Library on Eagle Street. And I don't know if the UB Law Library has these as well, but the State Supreme Court Library has records on appeal, which would be the documents filed in a case in conjunction with an appeal in the case. And I recall one time I had to do was an answer in a defamation case against a legislative body and members of the legislative body that I happened to be representing. And I didn't feel comfortable. First of all, I didn't have anything in-house. I didn't feel comfortable in what I was finding in my traditional legal research on the law library, nor was I coming up with much that made sense in a Google search. What I then did is I did some research of cases and found a recent case, at least at the time it was a recent case, where the defendant in the case would have had to put in an answer to the same type of defamation claim that had been made against my clients. And armed with the name of the case and the citation, I then went to the State Supreme Court Law Library, and they had the record on appeal on microfiche, which is kind of a neat way of doing research. And so I scrolled through the microfiche, reminded me of being back in the 70s, and found the document I was looking for, the answer. By the way, I want to give props to, it was Terry Connors and his law firm. And I felt very comfortable ripping off his stuff because he is an excellent attorney, and the work product of his law firm is in that same category. And so there was my sample. It was a public record. I copied it. I took it back to my office. I had to tweak it, right? I had to make it fit a little bit to what I was doing, but I ended up with a good finished product that represented a good professional output on my part, but that was due in large part as well to the fact that I found a good sample to use. Whenever we're using a sample, this would be my final word. We want to double check it with the current law. So that defamation answer I did that I was talking about was maybe 15 years ago, and I haven't worked in that area since then, but certainly the law may have changed to make parts of the answer not useful. So again, there would be a need to do some tweaking. The second point I want to make, and it's the second paragraph about drafting pleadings, if we're working for someone, and certainly that's going to be the case if you're working as a paralegal. In other words, you'll have an employing attorney or attorneys. You're going to find that in this area of drafting pleadings, there are different styles, meaning attorneys have different ways of putting the format together. The complaint that's contained in your handout was drafted by another lawyer in my office, and our department chairman, Mr. Prudensky, and his style is a bit different than mine. He does what I call talking complaints. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just how we were trained, and we're trained by different people and so on. But obviously, what you're going to do, to the extent it's possible, is you're going to adopt the style